My name is Mel from Mel's Paper Makes. I'm a 26-year-old cash stuffer and budgeter here on YouTube. Today I'm going to be going over my January spending. So at the beginning of the month, or beginning of last month, I went over my budget for the first month in 2026, and now I'm going to go over how much money I actually put in those categories, and then I'm going to click this special button and I'll show you exactly how much I spent. But this is just a budget sheet that I made. I had another version, but I'm not really sure where that one went. So this looks just a tad different, in case you're wondering. But I have this area here where I have my main categories. I have this table here that shows my sinking funds. And then a sneak preview, I have transaction summary where I enter all of my transactions. It's a very manual process, but I feel like I type fast enough and it doesn't really take up too much time at the end of the week where I just jot down all of my transactions and I have some nice numbers to show y'all. But today we're just going to start with this portion for now. But this is linked in my description and it'll bring you to my Google Drive where you can download and try this template out for yourself for free if you are into that. But like I said, my name is Mel. I'm 26 years old and I get paid every other week. My first paycheck was actually a lot higher than what is listed on here due to tax reasons and health insurances because I do save for an FSA. So $20 difference. To be transparent, I don't actually get paid $24.90. I think it's like $24.91 and a few cents, but I just round down to the nearest 5 or 10, and whatever the difference is just stays in my account for a bills buffer. It's not much, but it's a little something. And my second paycheck was also a little higher at $24.40. And the reason why there's a difference here is because I do get a $50 reimbursement for using a personal phone. And then I did pull $160 from one of my envelopes here because I I did do 5 cash stuffings for this month. So in total, you can see that I actually got a little more money than I expected. So that's pretty fun. But I can tell you um, that I did spend all of it, or this all did go somewhere. So that's really fun. So as I fill in these numbers, you'll see this start to populate and we'll go ahead and get started. I did save $15.80 for my rent. Electric and gas, I did put $100 towards it. Basically everything that I budgeted did go into its envelope with the exception of weekly spending because whatever money I don't spend for the week, I put elsewhere. So if I spend only $25 out of my gas and I have budgeted 30, I'm putting that $5 somewhere else. So for groceries, I spent $197 instead. I went home to celebrate my dad's birthday and my mom very lovingly gave me some food to have for the week. So I didn't need to go grocery shopping as much. Gas was $59 for the month. I spent a few, well, it was the New Year's holiday, and then I did a few days from home, and I didn't do a lot of driving. So $59 there, and also gas was a little bit lower in my area. Eating out was $139 for the month, and spending was $152 for the month. Next is my long-term savings. I have $0 in my emergency going into it because it is fully funded. Medical, future pet, everything got the budgeted amounts. So we're just going to fly through the rest of the categories here. Some of my financial goals this year is to fully fund my Roth IRA and to pay off one of my student loans. So that's where this extra payment is going. But really, I feel like my budget is pretty boring because whatever amount I say I'm budgeting for an envelope, I put that amount in there. So it's pretty boring. So this is where my money actually went. And now I'm wondering, Where did I put this extra $40? Hmm. Well, I'll tell you this right now. It probably went to my sinking funds because there's a difference here of quite a lot of dollars. So 253 to be exact. But whatever that difference amount is, a good portion of it went to my sinking funds, which is 170, went towards my sinking funds. $30 went towards travel. And then I had $93 go to my challenges. So if I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty sure the $40 extra went towards my sinking funds. But yeah, that's where all my money went. And as you can see, I'm left over with $0. And now my chart matches my table here, which is really awesome. Before I go on to my transaction sheet so y'all can get a good look at it, this is where my sinking funds ended off at the beginning of the month. I did have money going into these envelopes, but I did spend from them, which we will see in a little bit. But you can see this is where my categories ended up. And now I will click, actually I will show y'all my transaction summary table. This is just a table where I can see everything. I can see only my spent categories. Um, and you can see my rent and gas are a lot higher than what I budgeted. And that's because I used the built credit card, and my rent payment for February was going to come out before the card, um, before it was still valid, I guess. Or so I thought. But I guess not. So it went to another card of mine, and it happened to be a credit card on the account, and it charged me 2.99% of the amount. So that's crazy that I have to pay someone to pay rent. Um, but that's okay because I do have a bit of a bills buffer. So that overage came from here. I'm not really sure how to represent that in the future because this should show the 1580 and this should show the overage for these two amounts, but that's totally okay. And then electric and gas, this is my first winter in this apartment, so I'm not really sure what the average trend is for the winter months. So obviously I underestimated, and I will fix that for February. But this is my spending all in one table, and here are my notes that it was the start of 2026. It was my papa's birthday. I got a new jacket to go snowboarding and skiing and just do winter sports. I got race tickets, as you can see in travel. I've been saving up for travel, and I really didn't know what I was going to be traveling for. So I decided to just go to an F1 race, and I'm very excited. I'm so happy. It's going to be my first one ever. And then I also got a monitor, which is a hand-me-down, and that's the one I'm using right now. So if you see a difference, let me know. If I want to see the spending on my other table onto here, I just click this special button and I can see everything all in one spot. So my tables up here have been populated along with my sinking funds table. So now you can see all my three different charts here. As you can see, I spent a lot more than what came in, but I did spend from my long-term savings, mainly travel. So that's why there's a big difference there. And in my sinking funds as well. So yeah, this is where I put my money and I ended up spending. What I'll do is I'll actually take my budgeted amounts and my spent amounts and hopefully kind of track it throughout the year. So it's all in one spot for every single month instead of me having to flip through all the different months. But for now, this is how I am using my sheet. Again, if you want to try something similar to this spreadsheet out for yourself, please check out my template. I have a video going over how to use it, or you can just watch one of my other budget videos. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you stay warm, stay safe, support your community, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!